After you've created your login, we'll now go ahead and sign in. Each individual person will again have their own username and password. Go ahead and put that in now. I'm going to hit login. And once you've submitted your new form to become a rules coordinator, it also has your delegated signing authority. Submit that once you create your OIM account to the Secretary of State's office. Our office will then give you access to what you're seeing right now, the Administrative Rules Database. So if you come in and you don't see this, go ahead and give us a call, 503-373-0701, option 2 for Admin Rules Publications Unit. If you do see it, that means you've already done that and have access, so go ahead and click in to the OARD. Once in, depending on your access as a rules coordinator or rules writer, if you're a rules coordinator and you have multiple chapters like this person, my example, does, you can go ahead and click into the chapter that you'll need. If you see that one is missing, you'll need to call us. If you're a rules writer, you'll likely only have one, so you can click in directly to your chapter. I'm going to go ahead and go into our own chapter, 166. When you're here, you'll see that you're in our database, Oregon Administrative Rules, and then it'll also tell you what your role is and which chapter you're in. So again, if you're one of the rules coordinators that has multiple chapter access, make sure you're in the right place. You'll have to be in the chapter that you need to do the filings and the rules draft in. So I'm going to take a minute here to explain all the cues and what you're seeing on this main dashboard. And this dashboard, we're considering kind of your home base where everything kind of comes and goes from this place. So this very first dashboard or queue that you're seeing on the dashboard is the filings work queue. So this is once you've created rule drafts, you're going to see your filings here and in various states. So I can kind of explain what you're seeing. The date. It's kind of obvious. What you're seeing is the date of last time you've touched it or modified it, the caption of your filing, and this is again usually a 15 words or less caption, the type of filing, so you're going to see all the different types. Notice we only now have one type, and you have the option to do a hearing on a notice. So you'll see it just called notice. Minor correction is a new filing type, and I'll get into that in another video. Permanent filing, and the other one we're not seeing here in this example is a temporary. So those are our 4 filing types. The status is the status of your filing. More often than not, you'll see it as draft state. So this is when you've started something, you saved it, and now it's in your queue, ready for you to come and go as you please. Submitted means submitted to the Secretary of State Archives Division. So you've submitted it just like we did in the old online system, or if we did paper forms. You've submitted to us, but we haven't processed it yet. So then you see the staff who's used to worked on it. So in this example, I'm Ima. So these are things that I've done. Rhonda is another one of my coworkers, so you'll see her example here of the things that she's worked on. So you'll see, depending on how many staff you have that are rules coordinators, you'll see their names here, and you have up to 3. So you might see 3 different names of people working on things. And then the action, last category in this queue, what you're able to do with these types of filings. So we always have the ability to view it if they've been submitted, and of course get your receipt copy. No longer are we emailing to you, so anytime you want, you can always come back here and get a receipt copy. Drafts, you don't have a receipt copy yet because you haven't submitted them to the Secretary of State, so you can either edit them because they're still just draft state, or if you're really ready to, you can delete them, but that means they permanently go away. Nobody has a copy of them. They're gone, so it'll actually ask you before you want to do that. So moving on to the next queue, these are your filings final queue. So this is kind of where things start, and then this is where things end, and this is where you get to breathe a sigh of relief, because once you've submitted a filing, when they come down here is when the Oregon State Archives, when our staff, publications unit, has done something with it. So the good status is seeing it being published. That means that we've actually reviewed it, and it meets all our requirements for filing, and so it is published. It's actually viewable through the search feature, which I'll get to in another video. And the other status is voided. That's kind of not as good. That means it didn't meet our requirements. We give you a period of time to review it, and now it's been voided. So a lot of the things are real similar. We kept them in order here. So a date filed means the date it was filed, so that doesn't change. The AON is what we assign to it, administrative order number. So all your chapters will be under one designation or prefix here, and then you can see the order of which the filings that you did, your caption, self-explanatory, and again the type of filing that you did. So then we went over status already of published and voided. Those are the only two options that'll be under here. When we get to action, you'll always be able to view these and always have a receipt copy. What you might note is that things from this filing's work queue to getting down to the final queue, the receipt copy might have changed, because if in the interim you had to submit a correction, the receipt copy might change reflecting that correction. What you see, these bottom last two queues are your rules queues. So on the left, we see your current chapter rules, and this is all your rules. One of the new features of our database is that all the rules and all the text are actually in the database here. So you can jump around and see all your rules. If you want to start a new draft of an existing rule, this is where you do it. So you see the rule number and the title, and then you have this ability to start a draft or start an SMC, which is statutory minor correction. So you could do either one. Again, I'll get into that into a future video. The start draft is where we'll want to start a draft. That's, again, a current one. If you want to do a new one, you hit this button at the very top to adopt a new rule that's never existed before. So that's just our overview of our current rules. Then this queue, the rules work queue, is actually where, once we've started a draft, where things land. And so these are drafts and rules that are being worked on currently that aren't on a filing yet, so are not on a filing. So what you're going to see going through them is a little checkbox. This is the ability to include it on a filing. This is your rule number and the action that you've decided to do with it. You can see similar things that we've had in the old filings: adopt, amend. You'll see suspend, repeal, and renumber. And then over here, these little icons are showing if it has an attached PDF, which we're able to do, and then if it has a note, and I'll get into that in a later video. The date, again, is the date that it was last modified, and this tells you the status and who last modified it. So you'll see, again, your rules coordinators, and in this case, because rules writers also have the ability to edit and draft new rule text, you might see other people's names in here. For instance, we start to see this Christy, and she has the ability to draft rules as a rules writer. And again, our actions are edit or delete, being careful about delete. None of these, again, are on a filing. We put those when we add them up here. So that's a little bit about our dashboard. You're going to have a few other features in this section over here, which we call our maintenance pages. You can select a new chapter. So again, if you're one of the rules coordinators that has the ability to have multiple chapters, this is how you get out of 166 and into one of your others. You can maintain your divisions, and then you have your own internal search features. So I'll get into those in more detail in further videos.